Oh, snap. We're talking about Prey, guys. The new Predator movie. Bobo here with BrassReel Brothers. Thanks for coming back for some more popcorn, some live streaming tonight. And it's with me as always. I got my homeboy Andrew, my partner in crime.
Here.
And a special guest, a close girlfriend, Clint. Hey.
What's up?
What it do? So, guys, we'll just get right to it here. Everybody's doing good, I'm assuming. I love that shirt, Classics. That controller shirt, beautiful.
Classically trained.
Oh, classically trained. That's right. And I got the Goonies Superman shirt on, the one that
that's right.
In Goonies.
Hey, you guys.
I got to do the ear, but my earphones are on. Oh, it looks like Clint's on the ground. Oh, sweet.
Man.
Now, what is that actually?
It's the NES Classic controller.
Well, I know, but it looks like it's something else though.
Mm-mm.
Oh yeah. You mean with Clint? It's probably a bong or something, but no, not really.
Speaking of, no,
awesome.
This is the controller that came with the NES Classic Edition.
Oh, so you don't like? It's not. You don't. It's wireless.
Yeah, did you like when they released them a couple years ago? They released the SNES Classic, the NES Classic.
Yeah,
gotcha.
My brother's got that. It cost him like $500. He's got like every single game that was ever made on Nintendo. It's awesome.
Dude, this only has like 30 on it. It's really, really tiny. Actually, while we're talking about it, I can show you this. This came out like, I don't know, a year and a half ago probably. And it's licensed by Nintendo. Like, look.
Yeah.
It's super tiny. It's got 30 games on it, but I picked it up, and to be honest with you, I barely played it. It was when you don't have all the games there, you've got like Mario 1, 2, 3.
That's pretty good.
Well, I mean, it is, but
yeah, but the other 27 are games that nobody ever played.
Dude, I mean, but you played them. It's just that like Excite Bike. Bro, when I was a kid, I thought Excite Bike was the shit. I tried playing Excite. It's 2 minutes in that game, and you're like, what? No. Or like Tecmo Ball, bro. Tecmo Ball holds up about as well as a recyclable straw on a Coke.
No, that's blasphemous, dude. Because when I go to my brother's house, we play Super Tecmo Bowl. And we have we got to play like 5 games to see who wins best of 5.
Dude. But that's different. This is Tecmo Bowl. This is
you're right.
Plays.
Tecmo Bowl is where it's at. That's absolutely where it's at.
Well, yeah, and Tecmo Bowl was like the first like kind of archaic one for sure. I will say that gaming has enhanced so much that like with the Resident Evil games, I remember when those first came out, like the original and then part 2 when it first came out in the late 90s, I was just like, oh my God, it's so scary. And then replaying them after replaying the remakes that they've just done for those games, which are awesome because they made them from scratch. They just retold the same story and the familiarity, but it's all from scratch. But then like they seeing like the ones that they released, like the vintage classic, they've released it online. And it's just like there's no way I would play this now.
Well, did you ever play like the Master Chief Collection on the Xbox One, where they like updated the graphics for Halo 1, 2, and like all that stuff?
No, man, I got out of Halo after part 2. I just kind of got bored with the monotony of it, in my opinion. I know I'm a lot of people.
No, you're fine. I'm just saying that Halo 2, when you played it, it had updated graphics on the Xbox One. It looked like an Xbox One game. Right. But it was still Halo 2, like through and through, like same creatures in the same spots. It was one.
But it was all actually updated and graphically, which they've done that for a lot of games.
They have, and I feel like there's a game for the Switch that my kid may have that like is updated Mario graphics, and like it's the same games, but the graphics are like way updated. I almost feel like those are necessary today because that's the other problem with this. Tecmo Bowl, like I said, Mario 1 and 3 are replayable maybe one time in this day and age. Like I played Punch Out all the way through though, and like
yeah, because that's got an endurance factor to it.
It does, and it took me 3 times to beat it, but I actually did beat it. I could never say that as a kid. I always lost to, Mike, or this one it's Dream.
Oh, yeah, there's so many games. There's so many games I never beat on Nintendo, and I beat them as an adult, going back and playing the game. So
well, hey, let's get to this.
Yeah.
All right.
All right. So, Prey, the new Predator movie. I'm hearing somebody's echo, and I don't know. No, it stopped. So the new Predator. Oh shit. Clint, we just lost Clint. He'll join back again. Man, I've been waiting for this movie like crazy, dude. And I definitely have been waiting for a good Predator movie forever. And this movie finally delivered, dude. Oh my God. I was so satisfied with it. I mean, first and foremost, did you guys like it or not like it?
No, I thought it was great. Yeah, for sure.
I loved it. Go ahead, Andrew.
Oh no, I just I think that you touched on some pretty good stuff on your like straight after the film review, where you said this kind of got back to focusing more on the Predator itself and not so much of the other cast, and which, I mean, it did come down to just like the original. It came down to it came down to human versus Predator, in a kind of a mutual environment, I guess you could say. But it wasn't. It was. I could see what you meant by it wasn't trying to get clouded with a bunch of star power in the movie, or anything like that, And I really dug. I dug the simplicity of making this like 300 years ago when there was no technology. I mean, he obviously had technology, but if you notice,
that's what's fun about it.
If you notice the technology that the Predator had in this, it still wasn't what it was in the 1980s version, or even in the modern day Predators that we've seen. So it's showing. So it's even showing that alien species is even evolving as well.
Yeah, I think that they showed a different evolution too, as far as if you look at the fingertips weren't like long fingernails; they were stubby fingernails, and then also the dreads were like more skinny and wiry, whereas they were more like fat and like baby snakes in the other ones. Not that they curled up, but they were like thick in the other ones. The dreads were, and in this one they were really like almost like long, thick strands of hair.
Yeah,
and this was he shot like solid arrows instead of fake light blasts.
Right.
That was interesting.
Yeah.
That was cool. But man, I loved one of my favorite things about this was how we finally get at least the beginning of the backstory of the pistol that Danny Glover gets handed at the end of Predator 2. That was like Bobby knows this already, but that made me go back and watch Predator 2 again, because I was like, oh snap.
Yeah, well, I had to pause it a couple of times to kind of read what the name was saying, and I finally put it together. That's the that was a pistol that was given to Danny Glover. But I'm having a hard time understanding. Of course, I haven't gone back to watch Predator 2 in a really long time, and I don't really care to be honest. So maybe you guys can tell me, who is it that gives him that gun in part 2? Is it the Predator? Is it a Predator?
Nobody gives him the gun,
or he finds it, right?
It's hanging up.
No, he's given it. At the end of it, one of the Predators, like the Alpha Predator, like goes, take this, and throws it like across the room.
Yeah, I'm sorry. I thought you were talking about like it being like he finds the gun in the beginning, and that never mind. I was misunderstanding what you were saying.
So then it doesn't really quite add up, because it's left with that native tribe.
Sure, it does. I'm betting already. You two sloppy motherfuckers didn't watch that movie all the way to the end, did you?
What, Predator 2 or this one?
Prey. You didn't.
Yeah, I watched it all the way to the end.
The post credit.
Yeah, there wasn't a post credit on this one.
Yes, there was.
I watched it all the way to the end.
I know. And at the end of it, it's showing you animated credits the whole time. And at the end of it, it shows the girl right after she's dropped the Predator head on the ground, and then the camera pans up, and there's 3 Predator ships like floating right above the village.
Dude, I swear to God that I waited, and it went directly back to the Hulu menu. Like I always able to tell you.
I believe you. I'm just saying. I'm telling you.
I did. I manually fast forwarded, and finally it went to the credits, and it went to the end of the credits, and it went straight back to the Hulu screen.
Well, this is already bullshit because I didn't know that either.
Yeah, and I can tell you, dude, that I'll wait at every movie. I even waited at Top Gun thinking there was a post-credits scene.
Bobby's a sucker. If one person whispers in Bobby's ear or puts online that there's a hidden scene at the end credit scene, he's staying.
Yeah, I mean, I stay every time. So that's
weird. Hulu, that's Hulu's fault, though. Hulu pops up the menu in the middle of the credits thinking, oh, that's it, you know.
No, but I'm telling you, I fast-forwarded it the entire time. It said 500-something seconds left. I fast-forwarded, and it went straight to the menu by the time the credits were up.
I believe you 100%. I'm telling you, on mine though, there are these like little hand-drawn scenes. Like I might be able to pull it up right now.
Well, no, I mean, well, I don't want to get in trouble for showing shit on the movie yet.
Oh yeah. Okay, well anyway, there are these hand-drawn type scenes at the end of it, at least on my version, and that what it like kind of leads credence to is that what happens is directly after that, these 3 ships show up on top of the Indian village after she's dropped, the Predator's head off, and they're looking up like, oh shit, like something's about to go down.
Yeah, I'll have to rewatch it. I'm going to rewatch that as soon as we get.
I mean, that kind of makes sense. I mean, I think that there's always isn't there always a master predator, if you will, that kind of arrives.
Yeah, but to go back to what you were saying, Andrew, about it not making sense, is with the gun. I think it makes perfect sense because it's just planting the seed in your head that like, oh, the predators that's just a part of their hunt and their trophies now and all this stuff. Like, I don't know if they're showing you that that's the moment they directly got it, but it put the gun on the map for the predators.
No, that's fine. I didn't remember who it was that gave him that gun, and I was like, if it was a predator that gave him the gun, it doesn't make sense how they got it back.
It's a predator that gave him the gun. The predators have never had the gun, but I think that if they never showed us, what we're led to believe is that the gun was given to the girl by the French guy, and then the predator gets killed by the girl. And so now she's like considered in their lore, like she's like as badass as the rest of them. She's a worthy adversary.
She's defeated one of them.
So she will get killed by another one, and then they will lift that pistol off of her for the trophy on like, look, this is one we killed. So years later, when Danny Glover kills one, that might have been the first time they've interacted since then or something. He's like, yo, this is one of yours, one for the humans.
Well, and I don't like to dig so deep into it like that. I like to just think that it's sort of like what I was just saying, and just sort of put it on the map, and it's just sort of some connective tissue to show that this is in the same universe as those other Predator movies.
Yeah.
Okay.
It's not a reboot. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I don't think it's a reboot, but is it actually supposed to be tied into the entire? It's supposed to be tied into It's supposed to be tied into the Predator MCU, if you will, the Predator universe.
It is.
Don't you? Yeah, it's kind of awesome, guys, because the same way that Prometheus tied into Aliens, I kind of feel like Prey in a way ties into the Predator.
Because I think it's a little more direct. I feel just because the creature is the creature. In Prometheus, it's not even by the end, it's not even a xenomorph. It's called
maybe Alien Covenant. Then the way it ties in, will you give me that?
Yeah.
Okay. Here we go.
Well, now I mean, I'm already curious if there's going to be another. Is Prey going to be a trilogy and it's going to start from the 1700s and kind of end closer to where the Arnold Schwarzenegger version was? That would be kind of cool, but would it not be? Would it be kind of stupid? I'm kind of wondering. Was it a crash? What is it? Was it? It was ever explained? Was it a crash landing, or did it land there on purpose to have to kind of investigate this planet and kind of seek out a hunter?
In this one?
Yeah, in this one.
No, it does. Remember, it shows him getting dropped off at the beginning, and then he raises up, and he's in the camouflage, and then it's taken off. Remember?
Yeah, he wasn't a very valuable person.
In Prey, there's a shot. You were probably on your phone. In Prey, it was a shot where it shows like a huge mountainscape shot, and all of a sudden, it shows like the Predator like getting up. The camera's behind him, but he's in the invisible camouflage. You can still see him, but he's like raising up into frame of the camera, and you're seeing the ship take off. Like he's like, I just got dropped off here to do my shit.
That's when the girl says the Thunderbird appears.
Yeah, but I mean, he doesn't crash, is what I'm saying.
No, once.
Oh no, I just never. I guess no. I was very distracted today when I was trying to be in my room and watch this. So I guess it was like a 2-second, 3-second moment where I just missed it. But I didn't see the part where it looked like a ship was dropping him off.
That's a shame, Drew.
No, it's like the first. It's like
Sorry.
the epic. It's like the epic intro for the Predator in the movie.
Well, I saw her see that in the sky when she's about to shoot the arrow at the hawk.
And then the music starts raising real big, and all of a sudden you see like this escape of nothing, and all of a sudden it's dun 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 dun, and the president starts raising up like totally this. It's like this epic moment.
Oh god, dude, that was amazing. Okay, so what other? There are a bunch of other tie-ins though, aren't there? That's not the only one. Like,
oh, I mean, there's like if he bleeds, it can kill it.
Yeah, yep. Which Arnold says, and then they
do it.
I think. Oh yeah. She did say do it. She's like, do it.
I'm not sure if I'm saying it right. As elite, how would you guys say that? But what's up? Just saying he really liked it. Thanks for joining. What were you saying, Andrew? Sorry.
Oh, I was just saying it was a very finding the white man's cigar. I mean, that was an homage or tribute to Arnold.
For sure.
Yeah, and you've also got the like how they used. I thought this was really cool. Like how they used for bait. They were using the guys for bait, and we'd seen other people get used for bait earlier in the movie. But when they were using the two humans tied up for bait for the Predator, it reminded me of Predators, where they attempt the same thing.
Yeah, but they do it with the Predator.
But the Predator does it to them. Yeah, the Predator does it to them. And I thought how cool, because like the Predator picked that up from the humans. So it's like, oh, this is the way the humans think,
Yeah, so I'm going to start adapting their stuff, and then.
The skull that it used, rather than like the face mask that we're generally used to seeing, it looks more like a skull. I think the homage for another film was that skull came from that skull that it's wearing comes from the Predators movie.
Oh, really?
Yeah, from a creature that was involved in that whole in that film.
You talking about the Predator dogs?
Yeah,
that's what it looks like.
Yes. Okay. I was thinking it looked like a xenomorph or something at first. I was like, no, it reminds me of something. And then I went back and looked at it. That's it, Andrew. Good call. Good call.
So right now I'm reading something, and I might be able to share it. Let me see real fast if I can do this, because it's talking about, it's the director breaking down the.
And they've released this film where you can hear it in the Comanche with English subtitles. It gives it a bit more of a, maybe a realistic, if you will, feel of what they might actually have been, the language that it might have actually been saying. So
right here, it's saying that the Prey director Dan Trachtenberg recently broke down the new skull mask choice for the latest version of the Predator, set in 1719. Let's see. Man, I thought it was going to. Now it's like. Predator. God, it's taking forever to say it. Yeah, God dang it. He's saying that was one of the earliest ideas we wanted to suggest, that the creature was more from ferocious, a little bit stripped down, so it had a mask from an earlier creature, not from like an actual helmet that they made from up. But it doesn't say what it's from. I thought it was just going to say, but it definitely doesn't say that it was from a xenomorph. And we were talking about that earlier.
Yeah.
You were saying it was a xenomorph.
No, Andrew's right. That's the dog thing. Absolutely.
Yeah, I think so too. That's what it looks like now that you said that. I didn't know what it was, but now that you mentioned it right there, as soon as you said it, it's like, yeah, that makes sense.
Yeah, I'm 100% on that.
Now, what did you guys think about the lead girl?
She was great.
Yeah, she's great. She's actually been in she's been in quite a few stuff. It's just stuff I don't watch. Like she's even been in some CW shows.
Yeah, I'm not sure what she's been in, but I definitely, and I thought she held the screen very well, considering that she was kind of like the main thing you're watching the whole movie.
I liked how every time that okay, so one of the things I really appreciated with them is any time that they took that orange flower, all of the colors would turn very blue and green in the movie. Did y'all notice that? Like every time they would eat it, like all of the other colors except for like cold colors would disappear completely. And
Sort of to
like
kind of represent that thermal vision.
exactly. I thought that was a really cool way to kind of like tell us what was coming without telling us what was coming.
Yeah, and also the fact that they used, and speaking of a throwback, this is one of the most clever ways that I've seen them use the we got to cool the body down instead of doing mud, which they did in Predators. This time they even have a scene where she's in the mud, and they use
Yeah.
that to this cool advantage to her as well, and she learns some stuff about her in that mud. And you're even thinking, is she gonna use this on the Predator later, and all this?
Yep.
But instead she uses the flower. And I thought it was very clever to include it and make it important to the film, but not be the way she hides from the Predator. She hides
thought so
another
too.
way. Like it was just
Yeah.
really well thought out.
When she went in the quicksand, I for sure thought like she's gonna. I for sure thought that she'd be covered in that quicksand, and he's gonna walk by her, and she's gonna realize he can't see me. But they went another route, which is fine. It's cool.
Yeah, and I'm just glad that it still wasn't just like a gimmicky thing. It was there for a reason still. And look, man, the way that the Predator was sort of up in his game, he literally up in his game. He was starting off with the smaller things, and then next thing like the snake, but then he's doing a wolf, and then there's the bear, and then there's the lion, the mountain lion scene. Like
the
all
bear
that
gave him a run for his money, man.
Oh, yeah. It did. That was actually kind of cool.
He was basically fist fighting him.
Yeah.
Well, then it showed that evolution of a that one quick scene when the Predator's invisible, and it shows almost, I don't know if evolution's the right word, but it shows like an evolution of a Predator. It shows a rabbit getting a cricket, and then it shows the snake getting the rabbit, and then it shows the snake dropping the rabbit, realizing he's there, and goes after him, and he kills it. It's like, dude, like boom,
well,
boom,
almost
boom, boom,
every time he killed an animal, it was when the animal was going after something else. Most of the time, and even the Native Americans, when they're out and about, they're usually out and about for a reason, hunting for something or hunting for someone.
Right, and that wolf that was attacking that rabbit, I think it knocked that wolf off its tracks to get that rabbit, because it realized that this is another animal that could be worthy of a fight. So I'm gonna antagonize it.
Have you noticed that it also always like skins the things that aren't worthy of a fight? If it's not worthy for a fight, it like skins it. But if it is worthy of a fight, it does not. It
takes its spine and skull.
It takes its spine and skull. Yeah.
Yeah, I wonder if that's just a sort of like, you piece of shit, you aren't worth it. I'm going to just skin you and truly defile you. Whereas like taking your spine and skull is like kind of taking your, it's what makes you move.
I'm not sure what the reasoning for that would be. It's just, I've noticed that even when I was watching Predator 2 today, he only took the skull of the Jamaican priest guy that like put up a real big fight.
Yeah, because he had the sword and everything.
Right.
Yeah, so he actually came to the fight a little prepped, so the Predator was like, all right, I got you there. Yeah, I've never really broken the character of the Predator down like that, and I think that we could do that, especially, I don't know what you're able to do tomorrow, Andrew, but we were talking about doing a Predator franchise talk. But you said you haven't seen a lot of these movies in a while, so that might not work.
I've seen them all, but I wouldn't be as fresh with, but possibly I'll have to get back to you. Yeah.
Yeah.
Were there any? I'm down. Like whatever. Like I'm ready. Like I've been prepping for it. So.
Okay. Hey, real quick, can you put it on the screen? Google Google the river ghost predator, and then show images.
Wait, the river ghost predator?
Just Google river ghost predator, and then look at the images.
Is this a real thing?
Yeah.
Well, what is this about?
This is supposedly where that mask, where the mask that it was wearing came from. The river ghost that was featured in the Predators movie. The Predators movie.
Yeah. I can't remember if I remember what this river ghost was. Hang on a second.
Well, I do remember in the Predators movie, that's a bunch of humans that were kind of dropped off on a planet, not knowing where they're from, right? And then you find out there was one of them. I think it was actually what's his name was behind kind of a lot of it. But they did fight. They did face other creatures on that mysterious planet wherever they were dropped off, right?
I think that what it is, I haven't gotten back to that one yet, but I think that what it is they are fighting those other creatures, but they shouldn't be because they're all there together against the predators. And
right.
So they kill some aliens that then for a while there we think those may be the bad guys, but they really weren't type thing.
So this right here?
Yeah.
That's interesting. Yeah, I'm not. I just don't remember that being in there a whole lot in the other ones, but I'd need to watch it again. And Predators. But sorry guys. I thought I would have. I mean, you can tell that's it for sure. That's the mask. But I guess.
Were there any parts of this that y'all thought were scary or tense?
I mean, I think that the whole movie was kind of tense, but it also started I felt that it was very original to the first movie with Arnold Schwarzenegger because it had that starting off of you got involved with these characters. There wasn't a ton of dialogue with the tribe, but you got a good sense of who this girl was. You got a sense of her brother. You got a sense of their relationship. You got a sense of, the rest of the crew that they were tight. You got this sense that they all really cared about each other. And it kept moving. It kept moving a little bit. Here and there, they would tease you, but you never would really see anything happen. And then slowly but surely, it starts coming to a head. And man, I mean, there's a lot of tense scenes in this movie without the Predator.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? So
I don't think the Predator movies were ever necessarily like scary. Maybe to a 4-year-old or 6-year-old, but not as scary like a slasher movie. But there was some intense moments for sure.
The first two were scared to me when I were young. They were.
The first Predators scared me. Like
when I was a kid, they did.
Yeah, for sure.
But the way they've been, like Alien versus Predator, didn't have the fear that the first one did. The Alien versus Predator was an action movie. You know what I mean? So you very, very little even were you afraid of the aliens. Which, if you watch Alien and Aliens is an action movie, but you're still afraid of shit of those aliens. You know.
So I already want to see this movie with this in the 1700s with an Alien versus Predator. Where's it at?
Shit. I mean, that would be nice, but that they already showed that they can't do that twice. They did it one time and they did it good. They did it 2 times and they ruined it.
Yeah,
man, it's just because they didn't have the right people involved. I guarantee you that if somebody rebooted Alien versus Predator, they could make it amazing. Like if they wanted to. Well,
here's the deal: Disney owns it. They own it all. They own Alien and Predator right now. They're the ones who did this movie.
If we go back to what you were saying, Andrew, about
what was this on Hulu?
They own Hulu.
Yeah.
So they're just not putting their R-rated stuff on Disney Plus. The stuff they acquired from Fox, they're not putting it on Disney Plus, like Aliens and Predator and all that shit.
Not in our region, at least. I heard in Europe that all that's on there, but
on Disney Plus.
Yeah, they have an R-rated section there. So what I really hope they should do, what I think they should do, what's the smartest thing to do, is not to give us a trilogy, but they need to just start dropping movies like this, like once every other year, where it's a brand new time period piece with a predator hunting something. I'd
be cool with that. I'd be totally fine.
That would be really cool.
Yeah, man, I mean, they could go on forever with this.
Yeah, it makes you
a Wild West one, you know?
Yeah, I mean, it certainly makes you wonder. It certainly makes you wonder now, like how far back can you go with this predator alien species? I mean, were they back at the, were they back even before the 1700s? And they weren't, and they just can constantly get more advanced, just like we do. where they had they been doing this on planet Earth since the beginning of time? That's a really interesting concept. So
Well,
yeah, I think
originally it was supposed to be, they were talking about this being a medieval thing. I say supposed to be. That was just something that was just being thrown up in the air, like being taking place like during the times where there was like actual medieval warriors and stuff, Game of Thrones time, just without the magic.
That would be cool. Like you could do that. I think that the Wild West would be sweet. Like have like Billy the Kid, like face off against him or something.
What about Predator in the future? Blade Runner Predator.
You know what's funny about Predator in the future is watching Predator 2 today. You can't help but hear Alan Silvestri's score all over this thing, which sounds a lot like Back to the Future Part 2.
Oh, all Alan Silvestri's scores though do. They all do.
Yeah. Predator versus Doc Brown. I'm down for it, man.
Oh, so check this out. I mean, I'm sorry, correct me if it's VB or VYBE Daily or VYB Daily, but he says yes on AVP. It shows them in ancient Egypt.
That is true. The first one, it shows all the stuff on the wall they discover that there's a war between these species that's going on.
Dude, all right, how about that right there? We already had like Resident Evil and zombies and stuff in the sand. How about some predators and aliens running around in the sand?
Dude, you could do so many cool things with that.
That'd be great.
You could tie in the predators being like maybe what like the
Vibe with a Y, sweet.
What like the Anunnaki gods from Sumeria, or like maybe like Ra, or like Osiris. You could have them like be kind of misnamed that. Like you could do all kinds of cool stuff, man.
There's a lot of stuff that you could be doing with just because the predator has a humanoid shape. Well, the alien does too, but the alien has a little different with the tail and the skull but the predator is pretty much humanoid until it takes the mask off. You know what I mean? It's just bigger. And it's got it's got bigger toenails on its feet, but even its feet are kind of like Bigfoot feet.
Or like mother-in-law.
Like they even show that footprint, in the movie when I've got a shot of it here, but I can't seem to find it. But you know what I'm talking about, where they think it's like they keep on saying it's a bear. And
she's like, that's a big bear, and it didn't even match the same tracks.
But that's the thing. Why would they think it would be? They're just like, yeah, maybe it is a big one, but they never would think it was a predator,
Well, of course. And they wouldn't have any reason to believe it's something not of this world either. No. So two things. This is the first predator that doesn't have that thing mounted on its shoulder. Mm-hmm. It more like comes from like its arm, or I guess, because it's still got the three little
helmet.
And then two, that badass shield that it uses that actually can be a blade, that goes away. You never see that in the advanced predators.
That is true.
They've got the disc thing that Danny Glover.
In part two, he's got that thing that he holds with his hand that like wraps around. You know what I'm talking about?
They also in this one the netting that it shot out like it ate through people.
Yeah,
They
did that, and it did that in AVP.
Yeah,
it just disintegrated an alien.
Going through him.
The acid just melted.
Got you.
I want to say that it might do that in the Predator as well.
In Predator 2, the net thing like starts like winding up like around you. It doesn't like eat through you acid wise. It just like kind of starts to tighten up.
Well, no, that's what I think that they did with this. It wasn't acid wise. It was razor wire. And it was all squeezing in so bad and tightening up. And it showed that thing at the bottom of the log. It was tightening up, and then it just crushed everything, including the log.
Got you.
Yeah, so I don't want to think it was like acid and stuff. It was just that it was like little razor barb.
And then the thing that the bomb that usually drops, where it has a little and then drop, but instead of that, it was like three little discs that flew up in the air and kind of. It wasn't exactly a bomb, but it was more you guys know what I'm talking about?
Well, yeah, it looked like it did like a leveler, like a plane leveler, because if you notice, some of the trees just fell.
Yeah, it was really interesting.
So I'm imagining, like, remember in Ghost Ship, the beginning of the movie Ghost Ship, when everybody
that wire, dude.
I think that's what happened at that point.
Man,
which by the way,
Ghost Ship,
fight scenes in this movie,
amazing beginning.
No, that is a great opening, but the fight scenes in this movie were great, and that's what I love too. They didn't do it the entire movie to where you just got tired of it. It builds up, and finally when it gets there and he's fighting them all in that like little burnt tree area.
Yeah,
man, it's just beautiful with the axes, everything, and her and the axe. That was another cool thing with her making that wood tethered thing, which wow, that's probably impossible, but so is probably the Predator, so it's fine. Like I'm cool.
They use that same technique in the with
Mortal Kombat movies.
Yeah, tying a rope to the end of a blade in Mortal Kombat movie.
Yeah, he says the fights were cool.
Well, and when you
Azulite,
when you finally see her brother fight the Predator, he really was a badass dude. Like,
and that's another thing. I'm so glad that they allowed that to happen. There's nothing worse than like loving this guy, then all of a sudden he gets killed easily. I didn't mind him getting killed because he did so much damage.
Yeah.
Did you like how he opened his chest up before that happened? Like in the first movie,
like the first guy, Harry's like, shh. Yeah. No, there was all these kind of little tiny homages that were all a little fun. I need to rewatch it again so I can pick it apart as far as the homages are concerned. But it was basically the best way to pay homage to all the franchise without being like in your face with it. You know what I mean?
I love how the Predator movies have yet to pull back a cast member. I think it is so awesome. Like it gives them credit. Like you can keep jumping around in these time periods because you don't have to shoehorn in Dutch showing up, pushing pencils in an office or something,
Right. Yeah. I think the only real overlapping characters is the Predator. I mean, there's never, they may refer to other people in other movies, you know what I mean? They may talk about, though, there was somebody so-and-so, a guy in his team did this so-and-so and so, and he's only one survived, but it was ever, or you know what I mean? Or he died killing the thing or something like that. But yeah, they've never really made you try to pay attention to a character or do like, Fast and Furious where they shift gears and try to make you pay attention to other characters. And this one is just like, we have pretty much done it. While it might not be in significant different times so far, except for this one, they have at least been significant different situations.
Yeah.
In areas like location wise, it's never been the same spot, which makes sense because that's what the Predator would do. It would run around and try to find new locations to see maybe they're smarter over here.
Right. Yeah. And another thing I wanted to point out earlier was the Predator's body. He seems to be more like youth-like. He seems to be more like youth-like and tall and more like lean and ripped rather than like just like The Rock, for example.
Right. Oh, you're right. He was like, he almost had like a Ryan Reynolds build to him.
Right.
Like real slender in the waistline, but still super jacked and ripped, where it's like in the other ones, it was more like bodybuilder.
Right. He was like power forward Predator instead of like, middle linebacker Predator.
Yeah, but I mean that worked, and I think it's cool for one reason, the beauty about the Predator universe, especially the Alien one, they kind of have to stay similar looking, but the Predator, you can always make it sort of different looking, but because they've already conveyed to you that there's multiple Predators. They're like an army. There's ranking. They have their different badges and their, you know what I mean? They're different trophies, and so they have their different personalities and looks, so that you can always have fun with the look of the Predator. So it never bothers you. I hate it sometimes. Like as much as I love the Friday the 13th franchise, I mean, it's like it'll be movie to movie, and they'll even be continuing on what happened from the last movie. But it's like, oh, its mask looks totally different in this one.
Yeah.
Man, I'm going to give y'all a teaser on why you guys, anybody who's watching this after, has to come back and watch our full Predator franchise breakdown, because I'm going to drop a bomb on you right here, a little preview. And Bobby just reminded me of it. So when Predator 2, when they picked the director for it, it was genuinely picked. Like the guy's name, I've got it written down somewhere else because I thought that was tomorrow, but it's too good. So whatever the guy's name is, it's the same guy who directed Nightmare on Elm Street Part 5, The Dream Child. All three of ours least favorite Nightmare on Elm Street movies.
Oh, what's his name? Stephen Hopkins.
And the guy who was the producer of the movie picked him out because he loved the styling of The Dream Child so much. Like, no kidding.
Hey, dude, you'd be surprised. That's how a lot of guys get hired. You know, you'll see a guy that gets hired for this horror movie at some point, and it's like prior to that horror movie, he only did these type of movies, or vice versa. They've been doing horror movies, and they'll get hired to do this type of weird movie. It's like, really? It's like, yep, we like their style.
That's like the McDonald's fried chicken sandwich of the Nightmare on Elm Street.
You're right.
It's so bad, dude.
But at the time, you have to remember that they were the Nightmare on Elm Street franchise too. Now, I think the fifth one was the real start of the decline. We're getting off here, but they were being successful while ruining the Freddy character. Like, they were becoming more and more successful while ruining the Freddy character more and more every film. So it's like they thought that they were doing the right thing with that one, and they thought they were being successful. So I'm sure that there had to be.
Well, they're doing the same thing with Jason. They're continuously just ruining what we loved about Jason, and let's just make another one. Let's just make another one. Let's just make another one.
I can just picture John.
We're doing that now with Ghostface, by the way, but I digress.
I can picture John Lovitz like being the man behind the scenes of all of this, and him peeking in on the guys in the theater loving the abortion that's becoming the Nightmare on Elm Street movies, and he's like, they're losing their minds, and I'm reaping all the benefits.
Yeah, it's like the producers. It's like they're failing, yeah, dude. Vibe Daily says he says the goal for the predators is to hunt and collect the most vicious creatures, the skulls of the most vicious creatures. That's why they started breeding them.
Man, that is true. He disintegrates that wolf's skull and clips it on him. That's so true. I mean, if you think about all the predators that you've seen throughout the movies, they have their trophy case. They walk around with it. It's a bunch of skulls,
and they're in there.
They want that trophy.
You see it at the end of Predator 2 for sure.
Yeah. Which, you know what? What do you guys think? What would y'all think about a movie where it's on the planet where these predators are from, and it's about? I mean, what do they fight on their own natural habitat?
Here's what you have to do.
Do you think something like that would work?
First off,
be able to pull it.
No, I just want to tell you real quick. No, I don't think that would work, because it's the same concept of it. Like, the more you know about the predators, the less you're afraid and intimidated by them. Like Michael Myers, the more you start finding out about his backstory and his origin and why he does what he does, it's like, well, I like just not knowing. That's why it's kind of scary. So I don't know. I don't want to see like a predator going to the predator nightclub and hooking up with another predator girl and being like, hey, maybe we should have a predator family.
No.
I'm just saying, I don't think it would. You're asking if I think it would work. I'm not sure it would work on their planet.
I think I can make it work. What you have to do is you have to be willing to have a movie take place on the little predator planet, right? Okay. Well, on Planet Predator, what has to happen is something else. What if they have a club predator? It's like, tonight, the club predator.
Yeah, I know.
But I wonder that if at this thing you could have, or in this planet, the way you have to pull it off is you'd have to have something hunt the predator, and you would have to do it in a way that where you just, if they could find a way to make you care about a predator dying, about something hunting it, and hunting it so well that it has some scare to it, so that way this whatever it is can usurp the predator and then come and hunt us, maybe. But didn't they do that with the alien predator hybrid? And that didn't work so well. So
you mean like the predators are being hunted by a more superior species on their own planet, so they're always going out and seeking a challenge to help better themselves as hunters?
Yeah.
Or is it more? Would it be more? Hey, you're a better hunter than we are. You need to come with us. I don't know. I don't know. But the aliens, like Bobby just pointed out in the AVP movies, that seems to be something that they've been fighting with for centuries.
Well, yeah, and remember the predators were down there, and they unleashed them. You know what I mean? Like the humans were like, oh no, but the predators were like, yeah, now it's time to throw down. But then next thing you know, it's like all those aliens start coming up, and there's only what is it, a couple predators or one predator. But I want to put this up on the screen real quick because Vibe was saying, we had one of the Predator movies where they were on their hunting grounds. He's talking about predators, but I don't think that they were on their hunting. I don't think they were on the Predator planet Predator. I think that they were. Yeah, I think that they were on like some other random like game planet. Like they were on like almost like where people here have like deer leases and they hunt deer. Well, that was like a planet that was there that was just strictly where they hunt. And they put these people there where there was other alien creatures like them alien dogs or whatever.
Yeah.
So that's what I think that was. I don't think that was actually where the predators lived.
It was the Predator Island, Dr. Moreau.
Right. And he also says if they spoke, maybe it would work. But, you know.
That's true. That's true. It has to be all subtitles. Or suddenly we have to believe that they're talking English now. It's like, okay.
All they do is they mimic, right? They're like, shit happens, something like that. Like,
well, I think one of them talks. Didn't he talk at the end of Predator 2? Take this.
Yeah, exactly. He goes, take this. It's
now,
so
Bob
weird.
says the two predators could take a couple hundred aliens. I mean, I guess that's true with all the equipment that they have and all their tricks that their sleeve and their bombs and all their different. I mean, they could probably.
No, I disagree. A couple hundred aliens? No. But maybe two of them could take on. 100.
I could say two of them could take on 75 to 100
successfully. I think two could take on 100, but you get more than 100 aliens on two of those predators. That ain't happening, dude.
Hey, but we never thought Neo could pull it off, but he fought all those Agent Smiths.
Who else does Fox property? Who else is? What other like independent properties or does Fox have besides like Aliens and Predators? What else do they have out there?
There's a ton. Now that you ask me, I'm not going to remember any of it. I mean, X-Men being one of the main reasons, not the main reasons, but a big deal for them because they were able to add that to the MCU. That was like the big thing.
You could do a Predator Deadpool crossover. That might be interesting.
Or a Predator Wolverine because it's already been done on Superpower Beatdown.
Oh. Yeah, I mean, I think that there's all kinds of crossovers you can do. The question is do they need to be done just because they can be done? You know what I mean?
Yeah, of course.
Like Freddy versus Jason, that was such a fan clamored thing that it became such a rumor. Then they actually put it at the end of Jason Goes to Hell. Then it became so much more of a rumor. Then it was just like, we have to make it.
And think about it.
Yeah, but it was a badass movie.
That's the Casablanca of the 2000s. I mean,
in fact, Vibe says Freddy Jason was the best one, and it is.
Exactly.
What about? Oh man, you guys made me lose my train of thought, man.
That's the hottest Kelly Rowland ever was, man.
Oh, I know what it is. One complaint I guess I have is that there was not any. There's no if you watch this, how it presented itself on Hulu, which was just everything's in English.
The French, no subtitle.
Yeah, the French guys, the white man who was the French guys, the French settlers. I guess basically, I guess what they were. There were no subtitles for them.
You don't speak
that's French. What I'm saying. The French guys were no subtitles.
Yeah, why not? Was it not important? Was it just wasn't important what they were saying?
No, I just think that it assumed that just like everybody else in the world, you can speak French.
Oh.
I'm sorry you had a problem with that. I thought that was one of the funniest parts of the movie.
No, I honestly, I mean, it didn't really bother me because I didn't care what they were saying. I knew that by their behavior and their body language and their mannerisms that within a little bit, like maybe a minute of watching what was going on, that they were afraid of the creature too, and they were hoping that maybe these guys they knew something. And I think it was. I mean, do you guys feel like that there was some sort of undertone that they were trying to put in there with the white man and then the Native Americans and us sort of like already infringing, or do you just think that was just part of because they were in that time?
No, it was a callback to us destroying everything that was native to the Native Americans. I thought that it had like a lot to do with gender equality. I mean, that was kind of an overtone too, in it. I thought that because I mean, besides her taking the mantle of like the Supremo hunter, her mother also had no father figure, and so like her mom raised both of those amazing hunters. That was like a subtle little thing also.
Yeah, I mean, definitely the empowerment for sure.
Yeah, the gender equality stuff, I'm sure was a big undertone. I mean, if this is owned by Disney, then that's exactly what they wanted to put in there. And it doesn't mean it's historically factual that the native tribes wanted, nor did they actually have women as powerful as the men, or as hunters. But and yeah, I mean, the narrative is always to make the white man the evil one, and I don't think historically it was always true that it was only the white men that were evil. But that's how they're always going to put it planted, and they kind of showed that where one of the guys was like, hey, listen, we think we should work. We think you should work with us. There's something out there. He was one who actually spoke English. And he was the one who she ended up trying to save, and then it didn't do any good because the predator could kind of sense he was alive.
I don't know, man. Like,
Vibe is saying he's tired of seeing women save the day and save men in all these movies.
there were like hundreds of millions of native people to this land, and the white man like basically killed them all and took all their land. I'd say that's pretty terrible, bro. Like, there wasn't anybody else here but the French and the English doing that in Spanish.
Yeah, I'd say before we get in, let's be careful about getting into that stuff.
No, but I whoever said that comment, that's absolutely what I agree with that. That is exactly what my problem with Marvel and Disney is becoming, is that they want to tear down the man in order to make the woman seem superior, rather than just do it organically. Why can't you just make you don't have to make Thor such a weakling in order to make the woman stronger, and same thing with Hulk. You don't have to do that, but they're so stuck on this ideology now of we have to desecrate the toxic masculinity in order to show that women are stronger or just as strong. So yeah, I mean, I absolutely agree with that comment. You can do a better job at showing women with strength than just weakening men.
Yeah, well, like we said, I have, just to be clear, because we do have to, like Vibe is saying, hold your tongues, bro.
Yeah, exactly.
We need to watch ourselves what we're saying here. I'd like plenty of woman power in movies, plenty. I just don't like it when it feels patronizing from the studios, like where it's like, well, let's go ahead and make sure they know we're making their space. It's like,
dude, I thought this was done perfectly.
Do it organically. Yeah, and this one I liked it. I thought it was done really well.
Her brother and her went on equal footing. He saw her as an equal. He was training her as an equal. I thought this was the absolute perfect example of, and it's also, but it makes sense because it's coming from, going back to Native American history, it's coming from a nation of people that did not view the masculine and the feminine as different, rankings of energy. Like, it saw it as like every person has both equal amounts of masculine and feminine. Like, I mean, especially when you get into the Comanche tribe and like what they believe and like, their hierarchy of things. Like, it was very, very accurate in that regard, and I greatly appreciate it.
Well, and overall, I didn't mean to make that the main topic and us to dive into. I didn't feel like the movie was preachy or anything like that. I thought it was really good. I felt like I was watching characters that I care about, and I thought that the Predator, it was a fight between them and this group of people, and it just happened to be a tribe. And so I don't know. I didn't feel like they were trying to shove anything in our faces, and if it was points and things trying to be made, undertones, it was just as subtle as all the homages were. They weren't like just boom in your face. Like, thought they were pretty cool. Overall,
it's a great movie though. I mean, like, when it comes down to it, I'm going back through this on purpose, but and this is what I guess we'll get into more tomorrow night, but it's the best Predator sequel. That's where I'm sitting right now. I'll have them all finished again by the time we talk tomorrow. But as of right now, I think it's the best Predator sequel. Do you guys agree?
This would be a prequel though.
True. Yes, it is. It's the best one since the first one, and it's the best one since the first one, and I'd also do think that it might be, in my opinion, and I might get some hate for this. I think it's equally as good as the original in the sense that it's a different movie. It's nothing like the first one, except for the fact that it has similar pace. As far as it starts off kind of cool, getting to know the characters, whatever, and then slowly but surely the fear and the tension starts to build, and then by the end of it, it starts to really go down, and it has your attention to the end. But it's not about one-liners, it's not about big buff dudes. It's not about putting a bunch of who's the star at the time in there and to multiple of them. Let's put a WWE wrestler in there or a WWF wrestler at the time. What I'm saying is, you said it earlier about not focusing on the star power. It just really had some emotionality to it that the first one didn't have. You know what I mean? Like you got emotionally involved in what was going on with them, especially when her brother died and stuff like that.
Yeah.
I mean, yeah, you didn't want people to die in the original Predator, and you were like, oh no, but it was like somebody dying in an action movie. And this movie, when he dies, it's you feel something. And
there's a part of
a different film, so I think it's equally as good as the first one.
I have a feeling by the time that we discuss tomorrow night, and I've gone through all of these, that I will think that Prey was the best of all of them. I would say.
Out of even Predator?
I don't know. Even the original?
There's a real strong chance because you got to remember in the original, you still have moments like Dylan, you son of a bitch, and where they do that thing that shows their biceps for 5 seconds oddly.
Yeah, the Carl Weathers handshake. Yeah, they did.
There's a lot of
pushing too many pencils.
Yes, exactly. There's a lot of really painfully 80s things in that.
Yeah, but Clint, that's like saying that this Prey movie is better than the original Predator is like saying that somebody's cover is better than the original song, and you would think that's blasphemy.
Well, I can tell you right now that the Black Crowes definitely did a better job with Hard to Handle than who they got it from. So yes, I do think that I can, make that point.
I don't think it's a better movie because I still love so many aspects of what that movie was in the 80s. Visually, the way
For Mr. Big, Wild World, they outdid Cat Stevens, man.
Wait, what?
Mr. Big's version of Wild World is better than Cat Stevens.
I don't know if I know that version or that song in general. I don't listen to a whole lot of Cat Stevens.
Well, that's why I was throwing Mr. Big out there. I thought for sure you'd know that.
Well, I know the one-hit wonder from Mr. Big. I didn't know their other stuff. I know I Wants to Be With You, right? That's the one you know, right, Andrew?
Ooh, baby, it's a wild world.
I've never heard Mr. Big do that one.
What? Oh my gosh.
Well, overall, what do you guys rate this? A+, I guess?
Yes, absolutely.
I give it an A.
A. I like how Andrew is just a little on his grading. I like that he's a little bit there's a little higher. Sometimes people say I give too many things A+.
Dude, this is
A+ too, Clint?
Absolutely, man. This is one of the best movies that this is of all the movies I've watched at home instead of seeing in the theater, this has been the one that I think has kept I've been there the whole time. I haven't checked my phone. I didn't check my phone one time through this whole thing.
Yeah, it should have been a theatrical release for sure.
Yeah, that's disappointing.
Oh, look at our boy Rylan Johnson coming in. He said he loved it. Good to see you, Rylan. I did a podcast with those guys. They got their podcast, Spitting the Real Shit. So you guys check that out sometime. I wish I had a graphic I could put up. I wasn't expecting you to join, Rylan, but hey, good to see you. Yeah, so overall it's been received by everybody really well. I think everybody's happy with it. Nobody's said. I mean, I've heard some people say they didn't like it. So he says 1 trash can rating. I'm not sure. I got to check out Vibes, his site on there a little better if that's a good one or not.
I mean, how many bowls would you have rated it? 1 through 5. How many bowls did it take you to get through it?
Oh,
if it took you getting stoned to like this movie, you didn't like it.
That's right.
Yeah, exactly.
But I smoke before every movie, so it didn't take me to get stoned. I just smoke before movies because I enjoy them like that.
This is true.
But it's a 0 bowl movie. In a 0 bowl, that's a good. That's
Well,
that's
see,
a top grade.
one to me is 100 score because
Okay.
I'm going to do that. So
Alright.
if it's 2, that means that the movie's starting to drag. Like 2 means that I'm smoking halfway through the movie.
V for Vendetta is a 2-bowl movie.
Really?
When she kisses the mask, absolutely. You have to reload at that point. It just takes you out of the crowd.
So that makes Fallen Kingdom a like a couple of bags.
3? Okay. No. I Am Legend. The first half of that movie is a 1
Or was it
or a
Fallen
0.
Kingdom?
And then at the second half of I Am Legend, that's probably a quarter ounce down. Like, once the dog dies, man, that movie falls off a cliff. Like,
It did for real.
Yeah.
God.
Speaking of, I'm glad they didn't kill the dog in this one. I was being
Yes.
the whole time I
Oh,
was like, you sons of bitches.
Yes.
If y'all kill this dog, I might be turning this off. But no, they kept him around. They kept it. I loved him. He was great.
Yeah, it was an awesome dog, man.
Yeah. No, and dude, what about when she's like after going through all that stuff and she wakes up and finally it was like it's all these things that happened to her and she wakes up and she hadn't seen him forever and he's just sitting right there, just sitting by her and she's like, oh,
I know.
yeah,
Well,
like
there you are.
that moment was touching for me. I was like, oh shit.
There you are.
Yeah. So
Yeah.
great movie. I was very happy with it. Now I think it's inevitable they're going to make another one.
Yeah, man.
I mean, it did too good, and I just can't. Now, if they make another one, do you think it'll be on Hulu or do you think it'll go to the theater? Because this one was pretty successful so far.
Well, how much money they put into this thing? I mean, it all depends on the money they put into it, and is it going to be better to just stream it, or I imagine it was more. I imagine there was more money into this than anything else that went straight to Hulu.
Yeah, but I re-upped my Hulu subscription for it, so I mean, I paid money to watch it.
Well,
Yeah.
No.
There you go.
But they might be
What
banking
person
on
they got.
people doing that.
Exactly. Like, I haven't had Hulu since the NBA playoffs ended. And,
Well, I wonder how many more people watched a Predator movie simply because they didn't have to go out to the theater. And it's like, I wouldn't normally have gone to the theater to see a Predator movie, but I'll watch it since it's on Hulu.
yeah,
I mean, there's a lot of things that happen that way. So it could be a smart way to get people back into the Predator character.
Yeah. I think they should do a biannual release, like I was saying.
That'd be awesome. On Hulu, because Vibe says he thinks it's going to stay on Hulu. So you think that they'll do it on Hulu?
It'd be dope if they did, man. Give us a new movie in a different time period every 2 years.
That'd be sweet. No, I'd love that. That'd be definitely the way to go.
Heck yeah.
I think focusing on the same characters is the way to ruin it.
I agree with you 100%. I mean, like where it was right now, also, if you think about it, like, the NBA playoffs are long over, free agency, all that stuff's done. Like NFL preseason isn't here yet. All of the big movies have already come out in the theater.
Well, but you still have a couple now coming up. Like Black Adam comes out in October. We still got Halloween coming out in October. So
yeah, but I'm talking about for the summer. Like this was the perfect time because the only movie left that's coming out this summer is what, the Brad Pitt joint? Is that it?
No, Bullet Train's already out.
Okay, then what's left? Nothing.
No, I think there's some more. Like I said, Black Adam's coming. There's some more stuff. Black Panther's coming out this year.
Well, yeah, but that's like months down the road. Like,
yeah, but what I'm saying
is
those are summer movies that are just being released later now because the Hollywood industry is trying to saturate the entire year. So like movies are coming out in February and March now. They're just extending it past the summer and starting it before the summer.
Gotcha.
Bob says Bullet Train was decent. I actually went to go see Bullet Train the other night. And I was texting Andrew during the beginning of it, and he was like, "Are you supposed to be watching this movie?"
Yeah.
And they came out about 30 minutes into us waiting. They said the file was corrupted. It was a pre-screening, so we had to just go home. So it didn't go into my plans of watching it. So I'm going to watch it. I just haven't got to watch it yet. But all right. So I said A+. You said A+. Andrew says A, which, hey, that's a solid rating for a movie. I hope they do more. Keep it up. Don't ruin it, Hulu or Disney. Just make sure you keep this going the right way because you did a good job with this one. And I got to say, as far as the straight to streaming platform movies, and I'm not including Halloween Kills in that because that was platform and theater.
Yeah.
So I'm talking strictly platform. This might be the best movie I've seen straight to platform. And again, doesn't include a lot of the HBO Max ones because those were coming out in theaters too.
Well, I think they have a ranking. I think they have a way of rating like number one movie on streaming platforms. Like out of all streaming platforms, this is number one. And I think Tomorrow War with Chris Pratt on Prime. I think that was one of them at one point.
Mm-hmm.
So I'll be curious to know if
this makes the cut.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'd be curious too, because I mean, I think that this was better than Tomorrow War personally. I liked it way better. I thought it was a way better package. And it's the same guy who directed 10 Cloverfield Lane, which I like that one too.
Yeah.
Well,
I mean,
I don't want to go any longer because I know we kind of went over, man.
Go.
You got to get going, man. So, hey, much love, guys. Thank y'all for joining. And hey, remember, guys.
Hey, thanks for watching, peoples.
Oh, yeah. And also, remember, if life gives you lemons,
mix them up, fresh
popcorn. Oh, yes.